You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA. You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA.
Hello and welcome to episode 366 of the fabulous Peltoncast, sponsored via our friends at Pagliacci Pizza. I'm your co-host Kevin Pelton,
and I'm Tristan Carcino.
And we're coming to you in different locations this week. I'm in Seattle, Washington, home of the four-time WNBA champion Storm.
I'm coming to you from Renton, Washington, home of the Super Bowl 48 champion Seattle Seahawks.
And because of the fact that we're recording in different locations this week and have not coordinated this ahead of time, you are not going to be participating live in our search for Seattle's best IPA this week.
Darn.
But I have to drink the Tropical Staycation IPA from our friends at Rooftop Brewing.
Wow, okay.
In Queen Anne.
I want to drink that.
I don't know if that counts as Queen Anne. I also don't seem to know the difference between Ballard and Fremont, so maybe my judgment shouldn't be trusted here. But I feel like on that side of the hill, it's still Queen Anne and not Interbay yet, or that side of the bridge at least. This fruit-forward all-star trio of Mosaic, Citra, and Eldorado hops are here to transport you on that dream staycation. It's always 5 o'clock with this IPA. All right, that definitely got shaken up in my trunk as I brought it home. Our toast this week. It's an all UW, an all rundown edition of the toasts, starting, of course, with UW softball. Congratulations on making the Women's College World Series for the 15th time in program history by sweeping Louisiana last weekend in the Super Regionals.
Sorry.
What are you drinking there?
I'm drinking the leftover Wonderland Trail.
There you go. Anyway, we did not see UW against LSU because they were upset by Louisiana, but nonetheless, taking down McNeese, taking down Louisiana, UW definitely the Louisiana State champs.
There we go. Also, I mean, UW baseball took Louisiana's coach as well, LSU's coach.
That's a good pitching coach.
He
was. It's not like
plus
Oregon.
Mark Emmer. We own Louisiana.
Was that a good thing?
The
to take
Beastquake. We have done everything against Louisiana.
Wow, did not know that this was a rivalry until just now.
Yeah,
I guess it's not a rivalry. It's one-sided.
It's not even close. It is not even close. We own you, Louisiana.
They have an NBA team and we don't. Our other toast.
Wow.
Speaking of Jason Kelly.
Promise, it's done. I don't know if you're aware, it's done.
It's not done. Speaking of Jason Kelly.
Your defense of it is getting a little bit less.
Speaking of Jason Kelly and UW baseball, congratulations to them for being selected for the NCAA tournament as an at-large in the Stillwater Regional.
There we go.
First appearance for the Huskies.
You want to know what state we
reaching
don't
the College
own?
World Series in 2018.
State very close to Louisiana.
Definitely
do not own that state. Famously some
Is
losses.
I mean, it's... Yeah. Is it that close to Louisiana, though? It's not far, but it's not that close. The 12th appearance in the NCAA tournament in program history for UW. So a big moment, and I think we can only credit one thing. You're looking up where
I was looking to see if they touched. They do not touch by like the shortest distance. There's the shortest amount of Arkansas that is stopping them from touching each other. This is like, it's basically a Freelord type situation. It's basically Oak, Louisiana. I mean, there's literally Texarkana right in between them, actually.
Yes, that actually is. They did that for real. Anyways, we can only attribute UW baseball's success this year to one thing, and that is, of course, their desire to stay on the rundown. They were doing it for the rundown. And you know what?
What's that?
I'm going to decree something right now.
Wow.
UW baseball's on the rundown all next season by virtue of making the NCAA
all
tournament.
Next season?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's right there with UW men's soccer.
That treatment. They've won multiple championships.
We 100% are giving the Storm that treatment.
I'm the only person arguing to get the storm off the rundown. It's just a draft watch. We have to find an angle. For the storm.
We talked about like 25 minutes about the WNBA last week, remember?
That's the angle. Is not talking about the storm, but the league in
just
general.
The league as a whole. Well, this week we'll get to talk about Breanna Stewart. So.
Oh, God.
That'll be its angle. So, anyways, a great weekend for the UW Spring Sports. Should we talk briefly about? So, I went to Rooftop the other day to pick up this beer.
Oh, I meant to look up where this was to judge whether it's Queen Anne or not.
So it's down the street from SPU. If you're following SPU, towards the Ballard Bridge, I suppose. So also there, visited the Smash That Burger company truck and had their smash burger, which I gotta say, a lot of overlap. It's, Loretta's is not a smash burger; it's a tavern burger, which is slightly different, but a lot of overlap between what they're doing here and the tavern burger at Loretta's.
Okay, in a good way. Is this a compliment?
In a good way, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Is this a compliment? Some of us actually chose Loretta's as Seattle's best burger.
Oh my God.
I'm claiming Doughjoy.
No, Doughjoy is my version of Loretta's. For you not picking Doughjoy, you were just wrong. You're just objectively wrong. You even admit you went to Nathan Hennepin after, and you were like, "Actually, this sucks. These donuts are terrible."
I did not say that at all.
Quote:
Nathan Hennepin is still great.
I will say, ESPN's Kevin Pelton and everything.
It's like you're like the photo that's on the wall, and I cited these donuts
Wayne Gretzky,
suck.
Dash. Oh yeah, that's what you're saying.
Like the episode of How I Met Your Mother where Regis Philbin's photo is on every burger joint in the city.
Yeah. That's you. These donuts suck. Dash ESPN's Kevin Pelton. Okay.
Nathan Hennepin's still awesome. I will say it wasn't the most recent Doughjoy I had because I had it once after that, but a subsequent Doughjoy and a subsequent Nathan Hennepin, Doughjoy did get the slight edge.
Proved me correct. Okay, so this is disputed territory. It is definitely Queen Anne, of course. This is North Queen Anne. But it is a part of Queen Anne that I don't go to that often, and therefore I feel like...
You don't count it?
I don't not count it, but I just don't even really know where it's at. Once you get to the top of Queen Anne should not go back down, in my opinion.
Wait, what are we going to name that area?
I'm okay with Lower Queen Anne. I'm okay with Upper Queen Anne. I'm not okay with North Queen Anne.
All right, well...
Existing.
We'll get the Peltoncast geography experts on what we should name this place, but definitely worth checking out, I would say, the Smash That Burger company.
You were trying to decide whether it was part of Ballard, though?
No, Inner Bay would be the other question, I think. But I don't think Inner Bay extends east of 15th.
It needs like a New York style name. If the neighborhoods were named better, it would be like west of Inner Bay or north of Queen Anne, something like that.
It's east of Inner Bay, but yes.
East of Inner Bay.
These are, but you know what style these smash burgers are at Smash That Burger Company are, though.
Ian Bay or no Kui Ha, something like that. That's what it would be.
Yes. Do you know what style, though, these smash burgers are, unfortunately?
What style?
Well, they're not Louisiana style. They are apparently Oklahoma style.
There's an Oklahoma style of burgers?
I think so. We're going to have to do more research into that.
I like how unconfident you were in that.
I've just read one story that listed it. No, I think it's on their menu as well.
Oklahoma style?
Yeah.
Something about this place doesn't rub me the right way. I can't tell what.
Again, the burgers were quite delicious. So
that it's in the No Kui Ha no Kui the no Kui Ann. Is that what we're doing?
I don't feel like we've made it there yet. We're not there yet.
Okay, we'll keep working on it.
We'll get there. Yeah, we're workshopping it.
Anyway, it's in the neighborhood that I don't think should exist. And they're Oklahoma style burgers. But if the burgers are good, I'm for it.
There you go. We got you back in.
All
right, with that, it's time for your favorite segment.
Wow.
You're always surprised, constantly surprised every week how fast we get to your favorite segment. I thought we had
20 to 30 minutes to do on the WNBA before this.
No, that comes after.
Don't burn yourself We got Mariners hot takes coming at ya.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but one of the most anticipated finales of the year happened this weekend. A finale years in the making with so much drama and intrigue. We literally went into it not knowing what to expect. That's right. Of course, I'm talking about the finale to Julio Rodriguez's slump to begin the 2023 season because he is back, baby. That slump died hard, fishing an iPhone from a clogged toilet because Julio now has a 6-game multiple hit streak. He's hitting almost 500 over the last week and has a close to 1,000 OPS over the last 2 weeks, and proved in game 1 against the Yankees it wasn't just an A's hot streak. This is for real. The Mariners now have their very own disgusting brothers. With Julio back and Kelenic still raking, you don't need to Google Translate to understand that this combination is scary for American League pitching from here on out. Whether ownership sells to Gojo or not, and look, I wish they would, even their numbers in India make the Mariners' offseason spending look pathetic. I think what we realized this last week when Julio put the sticker on the forehead and said, I got you. Much like we knew way back 4 years ago when they were just prospect, that succession in Seattle always has and always will be won by Julio and Kelenic.
As someone who has never seen that show, I understood about 1/4 of the references there. But I am disappointed that you didn't say that Mariners ownership is are not serious people.
Are not serious, but that's actually good.
Yeah.
Petition and name Julio and Kelenic the Disgusting Brothers.
I don't know if that's going to catch on, but we can workshop that one as well.
Workshop it. It either will or it won't.
The Mariners did, as you alluded to, finish their 4-game sweep at the A's, followed by taking 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh over the weekend. And the less we say about anything that was not Julio or Jared Kelenic in Monday night's series opener against the Yankees, the better.
I think the most important thing that happened in the losses that happened in this time frame were pitching losses, ultimately. I mean, it's not like there was huge run support on Monday night, but the Mariners were still hitting. And if the Mariners are hitting, we talk about this all the time with the Seahawks, where it's like, if they can have the 12th best offense and the 5th best defense, you've got a very good team. And I think that's what the Mariners are looking at. If the hitting is there, I'm not worried about the pitching at all. I think this is a playoff team.
Have you looked at the AL East standings? There's going to be a lot of playoff teams for the AL East.
There's attrition that happens.
The Rangers?
With things like that.
Oh, boy.
The Rangers have played like 60% of their games against the A's so far this year.
I mean,
mathematically speaking.
It's not like the Mariners have played a limited number of their games against the A's. It definitely throws off the whole run differential calculations if you play against a team that's, on average minus 5 runs per game.
The A's are not serious people.
They are not serious people. or maybe the team is. The front office may still be serious long term. The top of the order was hitting Monday. I wouldn't say the bottom of the order, where there was 1 hit combined among the hitters after Jared Kelenic in the lineup was hitting. But Teoscar Hernandez was robbed of a home run by Aaron Judge. Did you see this play?
No.
I thought for sure it was gone. I couldn't believe it. If it had been 10 degrees warmer, that ball was for sure out. But Judge went up and pulled it down. To add
People
to the 2
so
home runs
confident in their own ability to judge the correlation between temperature and distance balls travel.
I'm just saying, the way it came off the bat, that should not have been just right at the fence.
It was 72 and sunny. There wasn't a marine layer.
There wasn't a marine layer, but it wasn't that warm by that point in the night. There's no way.
I think the number one, how everybody is 60% of people are confident that they're smarter than the average person. Maybe it's a higher number, right?
Oh, definitely a higher.
Maybe it's 80% of people are confident that they're of higher intelligence than the average person.
I can no longer remember the name of this effect.
Think that they are more capable of understanding the correlation between temperature and baseballs traveling than they are. It's just oh yeah, if it would have been 76 out, I think that's a home run.
Sure.
And are also capable of only understanding that temperature only applies to the team they're cheering for.
I mean, it's true that obviously Aaron Judge did not seem affected by whatever was going on. But he hit his home runs earlier in the game.
Oh, it got cooler. The marine layer set in right when Teoscar Hernandez came to bat.
That is the illusory superiority effect.
There we go.
That's the name of that. But there's a Dunning-Kruger is the pithier name that you probably know.
Oh yeah, that's the pithy name.
Yes. We should also shout out Gino with the walk-off home run in extra innings on Sunday afternoon to finish that series victory over the Pirates. Good vibes only for sure in that one. It was much warmer because they played a day game.
And I'm gonna see no baseball later too.
That's week. Not true. You saw a lot of baseball.
I
didn't see Mariners baseball.
I saw not a lot of professional baseball. And some of the games that I saw this last week were A's games, so I still somehow didn't see professional baseball.
Ooh, tough beat for the A's.
Also, I was at the Rainiers game. I've been in a lot of amateur baseball.
That's definitely true. Anything else on the Mariners?
And I talked to everybody there where I was like, if a ball was hit hard, I was like, if it's 78, I think that's a dinger.
You literally cannot come closer to hitting a home run without hitting one than Teoscar Hernandez did. You go watch the replay.
I haven't even seen it.
I mean, it took Aaron Judge. What is Aaron Judge? 6'8"?
Being like that was a great play by Aaron Judge, or Teoscar was unlucky to hone in on the temperature. that is what.
Just the way it came off the bat, and the fact that it should have been like halfway up the 100 level.
Okay. I would like to set the exact same set of circuits. I don't know why I'm bothered by it. I just think it's hilarious. The idea that you could be like, oh yeah, that was the weather. It's not even cold. A 72-degree day is basically like a relatively average summer
this home run
day.
did not take. I don't even know. I'm skeptical whether it actually got up to 72 today, but this home run did not take place at 4:30 p.m. or whatever the peak temperature was. It was. I took out my garbage at that point. It was legitimately cold outside.
All right.
So the Sounders got off their losing streak on Saturday with a 1-0 win over the New York Red Bulls. The lone goal coming from Jordan Morris, who finished a Leo Chu cross in the 23rd minute, but suffered a groin injury in the process, coming off shortly thereafter. Sounders were then reduced to 10 men in the 75th minute when Joao Paulo picked up his second yellow card, but still saw out their league-leading 8th clean sheet of the season, 6 of those coming at Lumen Field. Sounders back atop the Western Conference in total points, still 3rd in points per match. Saturday was the first of 3 games in 8 days, all of which will be at home. On Wednesday, it's the San Jose Earthquakes coming to town, 5th in the West with 19 points from 14 matches, but a -2 goal differential. And then on Saturday, it's the first visit this season by the Portland Timbers as part of this year's Sounders Reign doubleheader, which again is going to feature both derby matches against Portland teams. After a 4-game unbeaten stretch in MLS play, the Timbers have now lost their last 2, falling to 9th in the West standings. Sounders will surely be without Jordan Morris for both of these matches after his injury, but Raul Ruidiaz should make his return this week. He was in the 18 on Saturday, but did not play, probably in part because the Sounders were parking the bus with 10 players. So his return coming at the right time with Jordan Morris and his 9 goals heading out of the lineup for a short period of time.
Jomo, Gojo. Gojo, Jomo.
That's what you took from that?
Uh-huh.
OL Reign also played Saturday at home, beating up on Angel City in a matinee, attempting 25 shots, putting 11 of them on goal and scoring 4 times in a lopsided 4-1 victory. Angel City actually scored first in the 27th minute, but the Reign equalized before halftime, and they got a pair of Veronica Lotsko goals within a 4-minute span in the second half to take the lead. All 3 of those first 3 goals assisted by Megan Rapinoe. Quinn wrapped up the scoring in the 82nd minute. Reign are into a tie for second in the NWSL with 3 other teams, including both they'll face this week. First off, they visit the rival San Diego Wave in a return to Challenge Cup action, with both teams unbeaten so far in Challenge Cup play. Reign atop the West in points with a win in the draw, while the Wave won their only Challenge Cup outing thus far. On Saturday, as mentioned, it's a derby match against the Thorns, who boast the NWSL's best goal differential at plus 12, with the Reign a fairly distant second at plus 6. Portland has put home a league-high 23 goals, 6 more than the Reign, including 5 from Crystal Dunn to lead the team, while reigning MVP Sophia Smith has 4 goals and 5 assists. All right, Seattle Storm still on the rundown, not going anywhere, because they were much more competitive in their second game last Friday against the Dallas Wings.
You don't have to give a reason. They're not actually coming off the rundown.
They did
it's
fall
the 2
down.
decades of success is why they're on the rundown.
There you go. Also, your time
and the well-timed tank.
Yes. They did fall down by 17 points in the third quarter, but rallied in the final period. Had the ball down 2 with 30 seconds remaining after an illegal screen was called in a play that left Jewel Lloyd on the ground for an extended period. Lloyd then was on the bench for the subsequent Storm possession, and Storm couldn't get a good look in 2 opportunities. Satu Sauli then scored for Dallas at the other end to basically finish off the game. We saw Noelle Quinn dramatically change her rotation in the second half from what we saw in the first game and a half. The biggest difference was Sammy Whitcomb playing point guard, a role she'd barely played before that. Certainly she's the best overall option for the Storm at point guard, even if it's not her natural spot. Noelle Quinn said post-game she likes Whitcomb shooting from the wing, but with the depth there, easier for Sammy to get minutes at point guard. Also, that depth started to play better with Kia Nurse having a big game with 6 3-pointers. And then the other change we saw was Ezzy Megbagor playing at center down the stretch when she came alive as a scorer. Was also a big part of the comeback. Storm with small ball lineups with Kyla Charles primarily at power forward next to Ezzy, and starting center Mercedes Russell on the bench. Also didn't see a lot of Jordan Horston down the stretch after the Storm's first-round pick started the game 0 for 5 from the field. On Tuesday, as mentioned, we have Brianna Stewart's return to Seattle for the first time since signing with the Liberty as a free agent.
They really stacked the schedule, didn't they?
They did, yes. 2 of your first 3 games against super teams. Talked to Stewie after the Liberty's practice on Monday for a story that you can read on ESPN.com, assuming it's after Tuesday morning that you're listening to this. She really emphasized how grateful she was for her time in Seattle, how much she appreciated it, and certainly hoping for a positive reaction from the fans given everything Stewie did here in Seattle.
I think there will be.
I think so too. There was a little bit of annoyance because after Stewie's second game, her home debut, where she scored a career high 45 points in her home debut, the post-game interview, she kind of looked around and said, I think this confirms I made the right choice, which people took as a shot at Seattle, but I think really was just a matter of her saying that, how good New York could be, how much excitement there could be in New York for the Liberty, if they put together a team worthy of it. Not anything about Seattle per se. And, she continued to maintain, talking about it today, that, the decision was really about the ability to grow the WNBA being in New York and, being closer to family on the East Coast, not anything about Seattle or the Storm specifically.
It's a little bit of a strange quote to unpack of she scored 45 in one game and that confirmed that she made the right choice. Just literally,
but it was just the crowd at the home opener and the Liberty winning easily, all of that. Because she did score 42 in her last game with the Storm, I believe, and they lost to the Aces.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange quote. I would not judge. It's not fun to say in press conferences. Choices really can't be judged after 2 games, in my opinion. I might want to wait that one out just a little bit.
That is fair.
Just 5 years, come back, and we'll be and Stewie can tell us whether she made the right choice.
That's
Nobody ever wants to wait 5 years to hear it at a press conference.
We'll see what's going on in 5 years. That's a long time from now.
Is there a way? It's really interesting to understand. Do you think it's about who the fan base is? Because certain players, like the situation with Stewie leaving, I don't necessarily understand the radius of why it is okay for certain people to leave in the mind of quote unquote fan, and why it is not okay for other players. Russell Wilson probably asked for a trade, was clearly unhappy in Seattle.
I put in my story that he asked for a trade, so I feel like the evidence is pretty strong in favor of that at this point.
Maybe there were some public comments. Ultimately, the team traded him, though. He didn't choose to sign with another team. It is a little bit different than the Stewie situation. Russell Wilson then becomes villain in the city of Seattle. Do you think that is had the same thing happen with Breonna Stewart? Would the reaction have been the same, or is it just that the WNBA fan base is so different than an NFL fan base?
I think that's definitely part of it. I mean, I think just like Russell Wilson's tenure didn't end in a happy way. He was injured the year before he got traded. They missed the playoffs. Like it wasn't a kind of I gave all I had situation. So I feel like that played into it wrongly. I mean, first off, I don't think anyone should have booed Russell Wilson. I think I've been very clear with my takes about that. But the fact that like Stewie went out with her tying the WNBA playoff record in her final game with the Storm, and also just kind of the general change of era here with Sue Bird's retirement, I think factors into it. Like if Pete Carroll had retired and Russell Wilson asked for a trade, I feel like it would have played a lot differently than, him being contrasted against Pete Carroll still being here, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. I think Russell Wilson's just a person like people had a complicated relationship with Russell Wilson no matter what throughout his tenure, and I think there's almost something about the like relative anonymity of Breonna Stewart. We know a lot about Russell Wilson personally.
Way too much.
And we don't necessarily know that much about Breonna Stewart personally. So I think that's a little bit part of it. Like
I think the financial aspect is also big. Like, Breonna Stewart not only did not like renegotiate her contract as Russell Wilson did, or sign a 10-year, $252 million deal like A-Rod. Like she took a pay cut to go play for the Liberty, which also really didn't ultimately matter because it's 30,000 or whatever a year, 40,000, rather than in the millions.
I don't think there'll be anybody who boos Stewie though. Like,
I think there will definitely be some.
You think there will be boos in the stadium?
I think they'll be outnumbered by cheers, but I think there will be some.
I'm curious for you to report back because my perspective is that it'll be 100% ovation.
It's interesting because I posed this question to Stewie and then also to Noelle Quinn and Joel Lloyd. Stewie said she wasn't sure, but like had mostly heard positive things from the people that she had talked to in Seattle. Jewel was like, I don't know. And Noelle Quinn was like very confident, like, oh, it'll be nothing but love in the building for her. So
there's
even these people that close to the situation had different expectations.
I do think the way that you end up being truly beloved in a place, obviously winning championships and stuff like that, but being a star player and having the other star players around you leave and you staying there and doing it on your own, I think, and succeeding.
So you're saying like the Edgar model?
I mean, Edgar's more beloved than probably any Mariner ever, I think.
The other interesting thing, like
I meant like Kobe and players like that, though. Like everybody else leaving, Kobe being on his own, like he ended up being at a level of beloved. I mean, he's probably number one in Lakers history ahead of Magic at this point.
I don't think there's any question here.
But having that experience, those are like the most important years of Kobe's career. If Stewie had stuck around Seattle and won, if she would have said, if we're talking legacy, which I don't know if Breonna Stewart is talking legacy. I don't know if she cares at all. But ultimately, she might just say, I'd rather win championships or whatever. I think her chances of becoming one of the truly most beloved players in Seattle sports and WNBA history was probably higher by staying in Seattle rather than joining the Liberty. I think Kevin Durant is not beloved anywhere. He's probably the most beloved in Seattle of any place.
Yes, I've made this point on a podcast before.
So I don't think the decision should be judged after 2 games.
Anytime you break up your career, it's not going to have the same emotional resonance if you play for one team your entire career. But the other thing I wrote about was Ken Griffey Jr.'s return, and the fact that like he didn't play in Seattle for 8 years after he got traded to the Reds was very helpful. Like those wounds had long since healed by then, and he was fully embraced, and it laid the groundwork for him to come back to Seattle to finish his career.
But it's also like the way that fans judge it is like, if you seem like you're happy, we're mad about that. But if you're suffering a little bit by choosing to go to Cincinnati, it's like, we're okay with that. I don't want to live in Cincinnati, but if you want to, then you should probably be able to do that.
Well, if anyone suffered in the past year, it was Russell Wilson.
That's true.
But he didn't play here at the end of the season. It might have been different if he had played here at the end of the season. He played here in the opener.
I think Russell Wilson would have gotten the same response at the end of the season.
I don't know if it would have been terribly different. It would have been like more laughing at then. So the Liberty have won their last 2 after losing their season opener at Washington. Still building chemistry, but they dominated the previously undefeated Connecticut Sun in the second half at home on Saturday. Stewie, not as dominant as the scorers in the 45-point game, but really at the center of that, including with her defense in that effort. On Saturday, the Storm will visit the LA Sparks in their first road game. Sparks have lost twice to the Aces after beating the Phoenix Mercury in Brittany Griner's return game to open the season. Sparks hit hard last week by illness that reduced the team to 8 active players on Saturday. Those two teams will also play in Seattle next Tuesday. All right, UW baseball, let's talk about the Stillwater Regional. A host, obviously, is Oklahoma State, the number 11 seed nationally. They will open up against the Summit League champions, Oral Roberts. It's the Huskies versus Dallas Baptist.
Bring
and the other
on Dallas Baptist
opening game Friday at 10 a.m. So why were we so confused about Dallas Baptist being a baseball power last week? Well, it's the only sport they play at the Division I level.
Hello.
They are part of Conference USA. They are the only Division II program to compete in Division I baseball.
Well, I'm fascinated. They're part of Conference USA.
Yeah. Huh. They have appeared in every NCAA tournament since 2014, reaching the Super Regionals in both 2011 and 2021. Ben Zobrist, maybe their most notable alum from Dallas Baptist.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're learning some things here.
We are sure. They went 45-14 this season, including 3-5 against power conference opponents. They split a home and home with Oklahoma State. Also beat the Big 12 tournament champs Baylor. So this is obviously a legit team. They are technically the host, is the 2 seed within this regional. The Huskies are the 3 seed within this regional, although obviously that doesn't matter at all except for who bats last.
Do they have an implied seeding? In men's NCAA tournament?
I would assume not. I mean, obviously there's a lot of geographic aspect to this. That's why, Oral Roberts, I'm pretty sure, is in the state of Oklahoma, and Dallas Baptist not too far, having them play there. UW the only team that has to travel a significant distance.
Oral Roberts is in Oklahoma.
You don't think so?
No.
I would believe Tennessee. Yeah, it's in Tulsa.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. There's some
Fair enough.
Successful Peltoncast geography for you. So this is the same double elimination format as we see in the softball regionals experienced with UW softball a couple weeks ago. If the Huskies lose the opener, they face the loser of the other opener, and that becomes a loser out game. If they win, they face presumably Oklahoma State as the winner of the other opener, and then they would play a loser out game if they lose that.
And so does only one team advance from this pool of teams?
Correct.
And there are 16 different pools?
Correct.
Or regions or whatever?
Yes. And then much like in softball, you have 2 teams each advance to the super regional to face each other head to head, and the 8 winners of that move on to the College World Series.
Okay, when does this start? When are these games? When is Dallas Baptist?
The opening game for the Huskies Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
What time is that in Nashville?
That would be noon. Nashville's on Central Time, right?
Yes. I think I'm going to be back in Seattle, actually, for that one.
Well, you will have to convert to Central Time for UW softball in the Women's College World Series since that opens up on Thursday. The Huskies swept Louisiana in 2 games to advance. They dominated the opener with Ruby Malin spinning a 5-inning shutout and the offense coming in bunches. 5 runs in the 4th, including home runs from Sydney Stewart and Riley Holtorf, then 3 more runs in the 5th to complete a run rule win. Huskies then sweated out Saturday's game to just 1 hit in the first 5 innings before manufacturing the game's first run on a Madison Husky sac fly in the 6th. They added an insurance run on an incredible steal of home by pinch runner Brooklyn Carter, who took off as the catcher threw back to the mound and beat the return throw from the pitcher.
That's awesome.
One of the most exciting plays you could possibly say. Lindsay Lopez started for the Huskies, scattered 7 hits in 6 shutout innings before Malin came on for the save in the final inning. The Huskies will open Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Central.
There we go.
In Oklahoma City. Against Pac-12 foe Utah, the number 15 seed nationally, that got to host last weekend's Super Regional after number 2 seed UCLA was upset at home in the regionals. Utah lost the opener to San Diego State, but then took the next 2 games. The Utes have been a thorn in the Huskies' side, taking 2 of 3 at Husky Softball Stadium in April, and then knocking them out of the Pac-12 tournament with an 8-4 win earlier this month.
Still not scared. Not scared. Not scared of Utah.
Not scared at all?
I mean, appropriate fear, I suppose, but I'm not. I don't think the past performance against Utah means anything for future.
I mean, the Huskies are favored, I'm sure, but it's definitely troubling. So the winner of that one will face the winner of number 3 seed Florida State versus number 6 seed Oklahoma State. And obviously the losers of those 2 games face each other in a loser out game. That same kind of double elimination format. That double elimination format in the Women's College World Series leads up through Sunday. And then the final 2 teams will advance from that to the best of 3 Women's College World Series final, which the Huskies played in 2018.
It was 18. I remember. I think I was off work for the week that they played it.
During the start of the Women's College World Series, was in the Bay Area for the NBA Finals back then. It was the J.R. Smith.
Wow.
Forgot it was a tie game. Yeah.
That was only 5 years ago?
It was only 5 years ago. It feels like many lifetimes, doesn't it?
It really does. Well, I mean, even the fact that UW baseball was in the championship round 5 years ago, like it kind of feels like UW softball has been like not down.
I mean, I think that was the same year that UW baseball made the College World Series.
Who did they lose to? Wasn't it like Greenville or something? It was a team from North Carolina.
I don't remember in the men's College World Series.
Yeah, it was like UNC something.
I'll have to look that up.
Or maybe they beat them. I think maybe they beat a team from UNC. But
are you sure you're not thinking of how the men's soccer tournament is always played in Cary, North Carolina?
Oh yeah. You know my feelings about Cary, North Carolina.
Well, by the way, we'll talk about where the Women's College World Series is played in a second here. We got to get to that one.
It's played in Oklahoma, right? It's played in Oklahoma City?
Yes.
Yeah, not Norman.
The Huskies lost their opener to Mississippi State in the 2018 Baseball College World Series 1-0, and then lost 14-5 to Oregon State to be eliminated.
Maybe they beat a North Carolina team to make it to the World Series.
That seems more plausible at some point along the way. No, I don't think so. They beat Cal State Fullerton in the Super Regional, and their regional also was hosted by Coastal Carolina. Oh, Coastal Carolina. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you did have it. They're in South Carolina though, right? Not North Carolina.
Really? That's Tyler Thigpen's alumni, right?
We are really getting deep into the let's remember some guys here. Coastal Carolina is in fact in South Carolina, not in North It is where
Tyler Thigpen went, though.
There you go. I can't help but think of Coastal Carolina and not think about Tyler Thigpen.
He's 39 years old. Good God. Well, it was 5 years ago that J.R. Smith play happened, which feels like it was actually a lot longer. So much has happened since then.
I mean, like, LeBron has spent so long with the Lakers since then. J.R. Smith is a college golfer now. Also,
is he really? Wait, what?
You don't know about this story?
He's in college.
Yes.
There's two parts of information that I am unaware of.
J.R. Smith went back to college at North Carolina A&T.
Really?
Not a school that UW has faced in the College World Series.
He's a successful golfer now?
He is a member of their golf team, yeah.
What is the eligibility like for golf in college?
It's like, someone who plays minor league baseball and retains college football eligibility. It's, like Chris Wenke or whatever.
So you could play a different sport and
Correct.
then go in a college, go away for a decade or more.
I mean, you can go away, you can go away forever. Like you just have the 5 years to play for. The clock doesn't start.
And this is just for playing, right? So if I were to if I get really good at,
but you've already been to college. The key is that J.R. Smith went directly to the NBA out of high school. So not play college.
The issue is that I went to college. I can't go back in golf.
I believe that probably started your NCAA eligibility clock.
That precludes me. Literally never having swung a golf club doesn't preclude me.
You've never even done Topgolf like the Celtics?
Absolutely not. Like the Celtics, those losers.
This was a famous story. They supposedly turned the series around at Topgolf, but not far enough.
That was the Heat series. They went to Topgolf and then turned it around and then choked after. Yeah. A true indictment of Topgolf.
I don't know if it's Topgolf's fault.
That's Topgolf is the new curse. Topgolf will make you think that you're about to come back in the first ever being down 3-0 series to win. And then that's when it strikes. But no, I've never been to Topgolf. Thank you.
Okay, so the other side of the bracket in the Women's College World Series.
We're still there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Features top-ranked Oklahoma, which rallied from a multi-run deficit entering the bottom of the 7th on Saturday to pick up a record 48th consecutive win. So they get to play basically at home. They're pretty heavy favorites to win this. They will open up against Stanford, which advances the number 9 seed. Also on the other side of the bracket.
Really fair system you got there. Women's College World Series. Softball World Series.
Number 4 seed Tennessee, led by senior Kiki Malloy, whose dad is Lawyer Malloy, and older sister Amira played at UW, but Kiki is a far greater softball star, having hit a nation-leading 25 home runs this season. She's also incredibly fast and a great center field.
Lawyer Malloy's daughter at UW.
So according to the Tennessee bio, she chose Tennessee because she wanted a change of pace after spending her, entire childhood in the Pacific Northwest. So it wasn't like UW didn't recruit her or anything like that. It was just she wanted to get away. You just staring madly is not made for great podcasting.
People can hear my stare.
I'm sure they can.
People can hear that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Lawyer was there in the crowd. I happened to catch part of their game against Texas last weekend in the Super Regional.
Uh-huh.
And
when he's at the Tennessee game, he's New England Patriot legend Lawyer Malloy.
Oh, no. I mean, that's probably how they introduce him, I suppose.
Atlanta Falcon legend Lawyer Malloy.
That could be it, actually. Falcons.
He is neither Seahawk or Husky legend when he's at the Tennessee game. Thank you, Lawyer.
I'm kind of curious if Lawyer Malloy is going to come to the UW softball games. I would assume so. He must still have some affinity for the program. So, Did I say when this game is? Yeah, I did say. So Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m.
Yeah,
Central.
you already gave the time in both Pacific and Central Time.
I'll be sure to tweet about it as well. Make sure
Now, is
people
that
tune in.
standard or daylight time?
That is opposite Game 1 of the NBA Finals, alas.
Okay. All right.
So, anything else here?
On UW softball?
On anything. I didn't think there was really anything out of Seahawks OTAs that we needed to discuss right now.
I mean, the only thing from Seahawks OTAs that I think we needed to discuss was I was driving by and I was like, the Seahawks are doing OTAs there right now. They're practicing. And I was like, Jackson Smith and Jigba's right there. And
you were like, I was so close to Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It is pretty incredible that not being the first pick of the Seahawks draft, I think he is my favorite Seahawk instantly.
Wow.
I mean, it's like so exciting to even think about him being there and playing as on the Seahawks.
I'm not
it's
quite
one of
sure
those
who
moments.
my favorite Seahawk is. It might be Tyler Lockett.
I mean, Tariq Woolen.
Yep,
that's definitely up
one.
there. But
Bobby Wagner did return to the team this offseason.
It's all about your favorite player defines who you are as a person, though. So that's why you have to like pick a player at a position. Like I'm not a off-ball linebacker person. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that your favorite
clearly
player...
a wide receiver, but also like
your favorite player is Ken Walker III.
Oh, shifty, boomer bust, just like I am on these podcasts. Not actually though, because on these podcasts I'm open every single play, just like Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I think that's why. But the combination of just like wanting him on the team for so long, and the type of player that he is just like a be open wide receiver. I can't wait to watch him play football. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting around being like, oh, I'm so excited to watch Devin Witherspoon play football. Like, it'll be fun, but I care a lot more about Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I think he's number one right now. And the obvious of he's just new. You know what I mean? Like, DK Metcalf was the same. Like, I've already seen DK Metcalf play for the Seahawks. So it just can't be it's been great. I'm not unhappy with it. But it can't live up to the level.
You're not unhappy with DK Metcalf's play with the Seahawks. Bold take.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I do.
There's a newness to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Where,
of course. And just the excitement of the fact that he was available for the Seahawks because it was so uncertain whether that was going to happen. So. Also should note before we go that now with episode 366 here, you can do the Julia in a leap year.
Oh, there we go.
You didn't know where I was going with that one?
I thought we were going to wish people a happy New Year's Day because they finally got into episode 366.
Not yet. Not necessarily until we get to 367.
They're going to be starting this in a leap year.
We should also say, I forgot to put this on the rundown. Talking Taco Time shirts still available.
I gotta ship
be
those.
Sure to check those
I'm gonna
out.
ship those out tomorrow.
Yeah, do that before you go to Nashville.
I am.
Do you have anything to tell us about your plans for Nashville?
It's so difficult to plan eating when you have actual work to do, and I resent that, to be honest. But
That's
I'm getting
look forward to our trip to Las Vegas next week, the week after.
All eating, no work, all eating. I will say, you looked at the chef's menu, Roy Choi's best friend. That's definitely what we're getting. That was Nate who said we had to get it, right?
I believe so. I also talked to Bill Barnwell because he posted on Instagram that he was there last weekend, and he said everything on the menu he's had is good.
Best friend?
Yeah.
Bill Barnwell also said that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are about to be the next Jordan and Pippen. So
that's not exactly what he said.
He said precisely, quote, he signed it. It's on his diner photo. He marked the date too, May 29th, 2023. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will win 6 NBA championships together.
Can this be our new recurring bit, the diner photo?
The diner photo.
Then weirdly, I signed Nathan Hennepin sucks. Why would they hang that?
I
That seems like
know
a bad
why.
idea.
Also, why would they hang a photo from an unknown ESPN basketball stats writer?
Also,
It's
where
probably
would
a
they hang
bigger
a photo?
question.
Where would they hang a photo? It is not a brick and mortar restaurant. It only operates out of a shared kitchen commissary.
They put it up every time they get the kitchen back. When they're gone for like Tuesday through Thursday, they're like, pull down the Kevin Pelton signed photo, put it back up when we're in there. It's motivation for them. It's really just
Again, Nathan Hennepin is amazing.
It's chalkboard or whatever fodder for them to make better donuts.
They can hang it on the side of the truck.
Anyway, I saw that from Barnwell and I was like, okay.
Barnwell's larger point.
I understand his larger point.
People often think that the future is more determined than it is, and that whatever happened most recently is more predictive than it is. Just as people may think that this extremely short Peltoncast is predictive of when we have more stuff on the rundown. And it won't be. On that note,
thanks for listening.
Thanks.
How long was that podcast?
50 minutes.
Wow.
A little bit more than that.
That's maybe our shortest weekly podcast ever.
No, we used to actually do the weekly podcast this short all the time.
Really?
But they had way less UW baseball content.
People must have hated that.
I know.
It wasn't even like I didn't have things prepared. We just really had nothing to talk about.
Quiet week in Seattle sports, all things considered.